what's up everyone? So we have this all-wheel drive Husqvarna, however you want to call it, mower here. But that's not really the point of the motor or anything, or even the brand. The point is, the owner's son was going to take over doing the yard work, and he did, at least the mowing part of it. The owner's son, however, neglected to put a cover on, and that unfortunately caused there to be this problem. Now, this problem is it's not starting. So this is going to be potentially a bad motor, or at the very least a bad or a dirty carburetor. So trying to find this cover is actually quite difficult. I actually just ended up buying the whole unit. I also have another one on that one. The owner wants it back today so his son can have it. Well, hold on there. Over 90% of you, according to YouTube, are not currently subscribed. You're watching this video, but you're currently not subscribed. So I'm going to welcome you to subscribe at the end if this helped you out. I work in a lot of machines, so maybe the machine you're watching is going to be something you own, but who knows? Maybe you own a generator, a pressure washer, a big mower, a chainsaw, a variety of things. The only way to know if I'm going to fix it in the future is by subscribing, and maybe I get to the one that you own and can help you out then too. So I welcome you to subscribe, put a thumbs up if it does help you out. Back to your normal video. Might just switch it. Don't know yet. Anyway, I also have another mower. It might have this big clip. Usually there's these two smaller clips here, but this one has a big clip. I'll have to see if I have one somewhere. Anyway, not the point. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the carb off, look inside of it, give it a quick cleaning, and see if that helps. And if not, we're going to be doing a little bit more motor work. But first things first, the carb is easy enough, and worst case scenario, I could take the carb off and give this dude like 20 bucks for the mower and put a new engine on it. Wouldn't you know it, I went through all my engine stashes. I have about, I want to say 15 or 20 chilling in some shelving, not including the old ones up here I just pretty much use to stare at. Oddly enough, I have about 6 of these Kohler engines. Not a single one of them had the correct cover. Every single one either had the very long cover, which is I think a little older, or had the just wrong cover. So we might be redoing the whole thing. Don't know yet. So now that's done. Now, on the back of here, there are some numbers, and you can look that up for trying to find like a model and whatnot. It's, to be honest, it's just as easy to replace the whole thing. Anyway, let us take a pair of vice clips, or crimps. Look at the fuel. Yep, there is fuel in there, so let's smell it. Mostly fresh. I hate the fuel cap on this machine. I think the main difference is a Toro, or I even had a Lawn Boy at one point. He uses the 2-clip cover, and I'm assuming others, because I don't know what the brand of the machine is, the other one I had, but I think Husqvarna, whatever, is the odd man out. Or they order machines or motors from Kohler that are just far superior. I'm not going to worry about that. Because I know certain manufacturers will provide different options, you know, more robust parts, stuff like that. At this point, I'm going to take off the cover. The reason for that being, I don't want to damage this choke linkage at all. And to remove the cover is very easy. It's 1, 2, 3 bolts or nuts. Recoil comes off, this whole cover comes off, and we have full access, so we don't have to worry about bending or breaking anything. And here we go. I've taken the liberty of removing the 2 nuts to hold this auto choke device on. It just comes right out, and then we can just remove the linkage from it. Just so you know the orientation, it's really not that hard, to be honest. Put it back in the same place, you just have to put it back on, or you could just put it back on if you want, but I'm just going to leave it like so. Now, linkage is ready to go, and we can look at the bowl. Some machines this is not really necessary, but with this big old cover in the way, we'd have to remove the cover. That's just a giant pain, and even if we do, we only have a few inches of space. It's not that hard to remove everything on the top. In my opinion, it's a lot easier to remove the top than it is this cover. I don't have to flip it over. It's just a mess. So let's look at that carb. Unfortunately, the outside of this is dirty, so I'm not going to be able to capture everything that's in the bowl. Some of the outside might get in the bowl. I mean there. So I'm going to undo the bowl nut outside and try to move it quickly, but there still might be debris that gets in there. It's not dripping, so it's, oh, there it goes. And there's a few specks that made it in there, but nah. But there's a lot more specks coming out of it. So there's that. Kind of looks like it's been cleaned before. Oh, we have a plot twist. I let that settle, but I see water. Well, oddly enough, that's good for this one, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to blow through all this, probably take the jet out, because we are already here. Oh wow, that thing's in there. I'm going to get a better screwdriver for that, but I'll be right back. And the jet and the emulsion tube is slipped right out. Sounds good. I'm going to blow through these, compressed air, good inhale and exhale, whatever. Just make sure it's clean. And I'm going to take a wire from a wire brush. I'm going to clean the jet from inside there, also blow through there. But for the most part, let me take a look. It's mostly clean. I think we have a water problem. And after a few minutes of letting it settle, see that darker area down there? That's all water. And if you look, that little hole right there is supposed to draw fuel in. Now, water can go through this hole. That's not a problem. However, not so great going through that. So if water is suffocating all this area down here, and mind you, that is right there, that little indent, if that is full of water, then all the fuel is going to be on top, and the fuel is going to be like right there. So the only thing you're going to be sucking is water. Last time I checked, 2 problems arise when doing that. One, surface tension of water, like I said, is too great with the pressures that are available, and we're not going to be able to suck water through a jet hole. And two, machines don't really run on water very well, at least not without some type of electrolysis, but we're not getting into that subject. And everything's been nice and blown out. Put it all back. I don't know why, but this last week I've had 5 comments recently of how I say customers or owner or something. Then they ask how much I charge, and B, what's my business name? Well, I'm not going to really mention the business name, mainly because it's a hobby, and that's more or less just for my tax purposes. But the charging part, I think you'll be surprised. If you are interested, let me know, and I can go over my views on how to charge and customer retention, especially when dealing with professionals, because professionals do two main things. One, they have a lot of machines. Two, those machines are usually broken often. So you get a lot of work from professionals. Don't get me wrong, homeowners break machines too, but they break them on a yearly basis, and depending on the professional, you can even have a machine broken on a bi-weekly or even weekly basis, depending on how many people they have working for them. So keep that in mind. Hopefully this works out with one hand, but I want to check the fuel in the tank. I knew that was going to happen. The reason why I'm doing this is I want to see if there's water in the tank. Water, I haven't jostled this machine. In fact, it was sitting on the table this entire night. And I literally just turned the camera on and started working. So everything should be settled. So far, I see everything is clean. Sounds good. So I don't think we have water in the tank. I think what we had is potentially maybe a little water in the tank and it all went into the bowl. Or we do live in a fairly humid climate. I don't know if you know what PNW stands for, it's Pacific Northwest, and that is usually known as a wet, humid area. Not like Florida humid, but just like annoying humid all the time. And you know, condensation will build when it gets colder, and inside the bowl, which is metal, and the carb, and it could just very well be from that. So, or maybe I don't know. Either way, I don't think the fuel's bad. So I'm gonna go ahead, put the carb back on there, and then we will see if that runs. And if it does, well, it looks like this person just won the lottery a little bit. I want to go back to this cover and the issues with buying a new one. So there's two ports here. This is a crank vent. This is a tank vent. Now, a tank vent isn't on every single one of them. In fact, that Toro I showed you out there does not have it. So I just looked at it because it hit me. It's not going to work. So that's unfortunate. So we do have to wait for the actual cover to arrive, or the whole piece technically. And the reason for that is this. That tank vent, if you do not have it on, you will have issues. So if you are ever replacing one of these carbs or covers for the air filter cover, and you get the wrong one and you end up having like an extra hose, that hose being this one, you have two options. One, you can put like a little breather on it. They sell them. To be honest, it's probably just as expensive if you just bought the actual right piece. And yeah, but if you plug this up, the cap, and at least from what I understand, does not have the ability to vent. So if you block the vent, the fuel cannot get to the carb. The reason why is it needs to be open to the atmosphere. And if you block that atmosphere opening, you're not going to have it open to the atmosphere. You're just going to have it open, or excuse me, closed. And maybe a little bit of fuel will trickle out and you might be able to get it started. But shortly after you get it started, you're going to quickly notice you're going to have a few problems. So when doing so, make sure you buy the correct one. If you need a vent, get one with a vent. If you don't need a vent, then get one without a vent. Now, you could buy one that has a vent and then plug this off if you don't need it, because I don't really want unfiltered air going to these machines, and that's exactly what this would be, is pretty much a unfiltered air. I mean, it might be filtered a little bit, but majority of it being unfiltered. Don't want that. So do yourself a favor and plug it off the right way, or just buy the right one and you don't have to worry about that. And here we go. So this didn't exactly go 100% to what I would say as planned. I was expecting there to be dirt or a bad motor. So let's go ahead and give it a test. Put everything on. Choke is closed. Benefit of not having a cover. Let's see what we have here. And the pull cord is not on right. Okay. Uh-oh. Of course, when I say that, problems start to arise. I'm hearing a weird noise. Kind of want to look what's on the bottom of the deck real quick here. Everything looks to be fine. Just give it a little help, just in case. We might have a blown motor, or at least a bad motor. Let me look at the plug real quick. Before I condemn the motor, that's what the plug looks like. Dirt, junk. That's not good. So, yeah, that's really not good at all. I think we might have a bad motor, and that's unfortunate. I'm going to take a compression tester, if I can find where I put it. Here we go. And we'll test the compression. If it's low, we'll do our due diligence, and is this the wrong size? Yes, it is. Anyway, we will do our diligence, and that's also the wrong size. I think that should be the right one. Now, the coil's in the way. Compression test is meter set to 0, or tester, gauge. And we have 670, yeah, 70 psi. Now this is a tool, not 100%. I think we're gonna go through the lazy way. I'm gonna put a good new plug in there, we'll give it a pull then. If it's still having problems, we'll look at valves. Here we go again. Good new plug is in there. Double checked it just to make sure. It does have spark. I mean, technically I could probably use the old one. I mean, I cleaned it off, but let's find out. Maybe. It's like it wants to. I think it could benefit from having a valve adjustment, but as of right now, I don't know if you can tell, it blew a little smoke out of the muffler. It wasn't consistent. It was when you first turned it on. I think we're going to put this back up, put the front end a little elevated so we don't have to worry about oil spilling, take the front valve cover off, and just do a quick valve adjustment. I'm going to do a quick research and see what the numbers are. It's probably 4,000, 6,000, something like that, but let's just take a look and see. So I did see a fairly decent amount of popping coming from the intake valve. I just got done looking at what I just got done recording, and mic wasn't on, but not to worry. I basically just said the valves are normal. They were both at about 5,000s. Intake was a little loose. I think what we were seeing though was junk in the seat. I do think this engine has garbage in it. And just what happens when you run a filter without a filter. So yeah, and then the whole process of putting the cover back on, of course. But that's neither here or there. Let's see if that helped. Okay. Two things. One, it's definitely running fast. Now, there's two reasons for that. One is that tab could be bent too much and putting too much tension on the governor arm. Or could also be the fact that we have a lot of scoring and just nasty going on in the piston or the cylinder. I'm going to bend it a little bit, see if that helps at all. But I still see popping through the filter. That to me tells me that there was junk probably in the intake, and there might be something wrong with the seat. Maybe chipped, scraped. The valve very well could just be still out of adjustment. Don't know. I did double check it, so it should be fine. If there was junk in the way though, and I adjusted it, it could be out of adjustment because of that junk. Problem with running an engine that had no filter for such a long time is there is garbage in there. There is garbage. No question. In fact, we took out garbage, and you know, there's more in there. What's the likelihood of a rock getting stuck in a plug and that's it? So, not really thinking about it, but at the same time, this engine probably isn't going to be here for much longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what I can do. See what the owner wants to do. But more likely than not, this engine probably is running until it's gone. It's going to burn oil. It's going to fail one day prematurely because it didn't have a filter on there. So yes, started off with water and ending in potentially a worn but okay motor. Who knows? Maybe this will run for another like 5 years. Don't know. But this is the problem with not running it with a filter. So don't do that. Hopefully that was self-explanatory, but if you want to see proof of what's going on, this is the engine. It can run, but I would say the days are numbered. That is for sure. I'll leave you at that. Follow me on Instagram at SmallEngine101. If you like what you see, definitely subscribe. Put a thumbs up, that helps me a lot. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. I do offer memberships, so if you want more personalized questions, that is one of the perks of one of the memberships. So definitely keep that in mind. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.